welcome to the profile. I'm Gary Dunn, in the comfy chair, hot seat, and this gentleman, Mr. Paul Millard.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in, Paul.
Pleasure.
This is going to be great,
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
because some people have said, I know you're not from New Zealand, but they've said you're a sax symbol.
No?
Huh?
And a sax maniac.
A sax maniac. Right. So where were you born, Paul?
Born in Perth,
Yep.
in Subiaco at King Edward, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the one. And brought up in Floret Park.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what instruments you play, but I mean,
Yeah.
I can see them, and
Okay.
I know, but our
And-
viewers obviously don't. But
No, okay. Well, I've got back here, we have the alto, soprano, tenor sax. Didn't bring the baritone, which is the
big one.
big beast.
Yeah, yeah. Big booty.
Which is the big baritone, the big bottom end, the bass end of things. And did I mention soprano? Yes.
Yes.
And all those plus the flute.
You're a flautist,
I'm a flautist, piccolo flute,
a sax cymbal and a flautist.
yes. Where can we take that?
Yes.
We'll leave that one alone. The man with the flute, and
Yes.
then a clarinet,
Wow.
and then I dabble with keyboard as a arranger.
Yep.
So I'm a arranger's keyboard player.
Yes.
So I know all the notes and
Yeah.
the chords.
That
and
helps you
this,
arrange stuff.
Absolutely,
songs,
yeah. So that's and compose, yeah.
Yes.
So I'm off and on it,
Yep.
actually. Yeah.
What was the turning point in your life where this is what you decided to do with your life?
Yes, okay. I think it was my father who influenced me with music playing
Yep.
all the time, in the car, at home.
Did he play an instrument or?
He wasn't. He was at Wesley. He told me he used to play drums,
Yeah.
and he just loved jazz music, and he came from that time in the 20s and 30s when the big band jazz music
Yeah.
was big. He just carried that through. By the time I was probably 10 or 11, I started to really listen to music, and I was listening his stuff, but I was also hearing things on the radio.
Yeah.
So it was probably that, and moments like, I think there were so many good tunes in the 60s, the late 60s, 70s, and lots of, and my sisters used to play Joe Cocker in their,
Yeah.
and my bedroom's right next to them, but we eventually closed the door, so I had my own bedroom, but I could hear through the walls Steppenwolf and Joe Cocker and Sly and the Family Stone and all this great music. So I walk into the main part of the house, and Dad's playing Frank Sinatra, Count Basie, so there's a lot of music, even though, he just sang all the time. He just loved life, and he was just singing all the time. And so it just seemed to be a really good time. That's probably the turning point where I started to think I'd really like to play something, and I was hearing a lot of saxophone, and I think it was probably Ben Webster, a saxophone player called Ben Webster, who was with the Count Basie band and also Ellington at one stage. And I really loved it. I thought, wow, maybe if I could play tenor, that'd be great, and I could do something with that. But it was a time where if you learnt saxophone, you should play clarinet first. It was sort of like, I don't know why, because I've got lots of students now I teach just from the saxophone.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily play the clarinet. But the clarinet does set you up pretty well for very similar fingerings and basically similar embouchure positions, and but they're quite different animals in the end. But I did that, and that was great. And suddenly I'm playing melodies I like, but I'm also, interestingly enough, I'm not just playing jazz like I was. I'm buying music that I'm hearing on the radio that I could play on the clarinet. But these are pop tunes like.
And that was easier.
Well,
was
I
it?
really, there's lots of great music, and I think I'm talking about things like My Sharia More by Stevie Wonder, or The Look of Love.
Mm.
You know, these really nice melodies.
Yes.
I was really
Yes.
into melodies,
Yeah.
but they were kind of pop melodies of the day, and just there's a whole bunch of them now. I can't think of them all, but I actually went in because I was getting lessons. I eventually got some lessons. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun.
No, that's all right. Who taught you?
But I went to Musgrove's School of Music.
You
Murray
knew
Street.
Ernie Mackey then pretty well.
Who was that?
Ernie Mackey. He ran the place at that time.
Oh yeah, didn't actually get to know him.
Okay.
No, because I was about 13, I think, when I got in there, and Len Linton
Yep.
was my teacher,
Wow.
and of course Cliff Linton's father, who was a guitar player
course.
but also clarinet
Yes.
player. I didn't know. Years and years later, when I worked with Cliff a lot, I heard that he was multi-instrumentalist and everything. But I learnt the basics from him with the Tune a Day book on the clarinet.
Tune a Day, loved it.
You know, remember?
Yeah, I
and
know.
I've still got that book. You know, the classic cover of the old style. So you're playing all these old tunes.
They had
So
the picture of a clarinet on the front as well, didn't
That's
they?
the
Tune a
one.
Day. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. So that was my beginning of getting right into music and pretty much holus bolus. So I just really loved it.
Yeah.
You know, and more than sport or anything.
Yes.
But I did play sport at
Yes.
school. But that was my preoccupation was with music.
So 1975, I was actually working in Musgroves, your first band,
Yeah.
single side band.
Yeah.
Who was in that?
Single side band was fabulous, and it was. It's funny how you live I was living in Alderbury Street in Floret Park, and 2 houses down, Amanda Vincent lived there, keyboard player, and of course Eurogliders,
Yes.
and all these Duck Soup, and she invited me down. She heard that I was learning tenor saxophone because by this time I'd taken up the sax, and I was really playing the instrument that I really wanted in the first place, you know. But even though I do love clarinet, but it was just something I could really utilise the sax more and all the music I was listening to, you know, because I started to listen to blues and all sorts of stylistic things where the sax was featured. Anyway, she invited me down. I went down there, and we had a record session. I always remember that with T-Bone Walker Records and Ray Charles. And I mean, wow! All of a sudden, I'm getting all the great sounds of the bands that are backing those singers and guitar players, and then all the horn sections that are with it, and, you know. So and then there was a decision made with all the people in that room, pretty much, to get a band together, and I'm pretty sure Hayden was there, Hayden Pickersgill, and forgive me on this remembering, but John Ryan. Yeah, John Ryan guitar. I don't know if you knew John.
No, I didn't.
Wonderful guitar player back then, and I'm just forgetting everyone's name, but excuse me for that.
That's okay.
But anyway, that was a fabulous little band, and I've got a photo that I just discovered a couple of days ago. I don't know, you know, I've been thinking, wow, we used to do some little gigs, and I had no idea where, you know, if there's a photo of it, there's a photo of me and Simon Tarrant, who's a saxophone player as well, and we're playing at the Governor Broome Hotel.
Wow.
In Northbridge there, well, it wasn't called Northbridge at that time.
Yeah, that's right. North Perth, I think,
on
wasn't
Roe
it?
Street,
down
there. We used to play at Steve's. So that was an education. You know, like playing in those gigs, and a lot of them were uni students.
Yes, particularly Steve's as well on Sundays.
Steve,
so it was packed, wasn't it?
well, the uni students there, but also in the band, it turned out.
Yes.
A lot of the guys in the band.
Yeah.
And I just got a gig as a clerk, and during the day as a sales clerk in a place called BJ Ball in Leederville. And eventually I moved on to Bowater, so I was getting into the paper industry, you know, and selling things to printers, paper to printers. Specialised paper, you know, the stuff for brochures and all that sort of thing. So I did that for a few years, and that was great. But I was always hearing music in my head is sitting there waiting for the phone to call to take an order. And then hearing this blues line, this riff going over in my head, I thought, God, I really would love to do music full time.
Yeah.
And that
was your passion.
Well, it seemed possible back then. Still a risky thing to do financially, like it is now. It's even more now. But I think then there was much more live music.
Yes.
So, I did
a lot more work around.
Yeah, and that blues band set me up for to getting into more commercial bands like Spilt Milk with the Damasi Brothers.
I saw you guys.
Yeah.
In 78, Spilt Milk.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And we actually had that was
funky band.
That was funky band and serious guys they were listening to. I remember some of our first rehearsals in Alf's garage, his parents' garage, over there off Main Street in Scarborough, I think. Balcatta, you're right, exactly.
That's where we used to call them Dings Live.
Yeah, well, it was.
Excuse me.
You said that? No,
probably politically incorrect.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
PC.
Yeah.
But I got called names as well. I came from England.
Some of my best friends are Italian. Don't worry about that.
Likewise.
Yeah, very much so. And that band, those guys were listening to the Commodores.
Yep.
And some very funky, edgy things, and eventually I think we started to get into like the Chick Corea tunes, which was way advanced for me at the time.
Yes.
There's some classic albums I can't remember all, but especially Alf. He had some chops.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he still does.
He still does.
He's a great
100%.
musician.
Yeah.
And Joe.
Great drummer.
Yeah,
really good drummer.
Yeah. And so, we used to occasionally do a couple of, I think maybe we only did 2 jazz club gigs. So here's basically a pop band.
Yes.
The Commodores and all the funky stuff from that time, which was mid-70s. Lots of great material to play. And that went on for a couple of years, but it morphed into a band called Encounter. So that became like a disco band, the height of the disco club.
Yep.
You're playing boogie, oogie.
Don't laugh because I'm just putting this big disco band together right now as we speak.
It's great stuff, isn't it? There's a lot for sax players to play because of all the lines, all the horn lines. You end up being like the horn player.
Yeah.
Because there was no trumpet or anything. But
well, we were going to have a 3-piece brass, but too expensive. So I've just got another keyboard player doing all the brass bits, and
it's nice to have the sax and
the live brasses.
I've got your number here.
Mate, no problem. No problem.
It gives that real edge to everything.
It's only worth about $5 a night. You still interested?
Yeah. Well, it could lead to something else. That's the way I always think.
No, opportunity. Yeah. No,
you never know. You get discovered.
There you go.
But now I'm into all that.
Excellent. And you worked with Bernie Lynch as well before.
Yeah, Bernie.
Obviously, Eurogliders and
Bernie Lynch.
Yep.
Great musician and songwriter.
Yep.
And I just found myself in that just for a minute, really, although it's probably about 6 months doing gigs down in, I think we did, I just remember the Chelsea Tavern and the Broadway Tavern.
Yeah, Stirling Highway there.
Yeah, I think maybe I did a few of those, and he was playing, all the guys in the band, they were doing covers of funk tunes or tunes from Aja, from Steely Dan.
Yes.
Peg.
Yes.
All those great little lines. And also some Earth, Wind and Fire things. But, that was really clever of him, plus original tunes. So it's a smattering of both.
Yeah, we always had to throw some originals in those days.
Yeah. And people loved it.
Yeah, they did too.
That was Bernie. Yeah, playing with Bernie was great.
So you went played with Manteca? Or?
Yeah, well, Manteca was right at that time, maybe just slightly further on than that, 78, and fantastic opportunity. Tony Borthwick gave me a call and says, I'm a little bit too busy. There's a rehearsal band called Manteca with Uwe Stengel.
Did you jump in and just...
I didn't say no for that one.
Of course.
No, you don't say no for that, because I'd heard it was great.
Same as the disco band, Disco Inferno. You
absolutely.
Give you that call, you won't say no.
Absolutely. No, well, for sure. For sure. That was cool too. Yeah, absolutely. And so that was, the thing about that was, it was music that I started to listen to. I was listening to Crusaders, the band called the Crusaders, and Earth, Wind and Fire always, but fusion bands, once again, Chick Corea, a whole bunch of people coming out, Brecker Brothers.
Yeah.
Spyro Gyra. Oh, Tower Power, absolutely.
Come on, boys.
Thank you.
We're interviewing
keep it
this
coming.
man here, please.
Yeah, no, very much so. Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we started to get into, and of course Chicago music.
Yes.
And it was ready made up.
Yeah.
There's your 4-part horn section, and a great rhythm section with all the boys and
Glenn Walsh,
Mick Glendenning, Gary Ridge, and then Bruce Johnson on keyboards, and the guys and Mover on sax, and Brendan Darby on trumpet, and Al Lyford, Al Pithers, and I'm still really good mates with them. To this day, I was thankful for that opportunity, and I really pushed myself trying to learn all those tunes and those tricky heads, all those the Brecker Brothers especially.
Yeah, that was hard stuff.
Exactly. I can hear it all now because we rehearsed a lot, and that was another good thing about that time is that there were gigs.
But there was lots of rehearsal, wasn't there?
Lots of rehearsals. We didn't, I don't suppose, care, but isn't that the best way to do it?
And these days it's like, we've got time to rehearse.
Yeah, it really makes a difference,
doesn't it?
To really dedicate
Absolutely.
yourself. And that's why the group, was really successful and, great, all those gentlemen, fabulous to work with. And I know I've forgotten a couple of names,
okay,
but it'll come. It'll come to me.
You play with Basil Fidelli, 7980, Blue Note Tavern.
Blue Note, another great session, a Friday night session.
And all the people you mentioned, Pithers, Lyford,
you
name it, Basil.
Basil.
We've had them all on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Basil. Wonderful.
Basil, great blues man. And I just did a gig with him with Mike Fidelli down at the Oxford Hotel. And there's me just wailing away with Mike. I mean, Mike
awesome
is
guitar
that
player.
the epitome of a blues guitarist or what?
100%.
I mean, it takes you back a little and you think, okay, this is the real deal.
Yes,
and,
it is.
And Basil, and Basil, wonderful. I mean, he's got the feel and
he's got the
the sound on his voice, and I had a really good. I'm really lucky, I think, and because Al Lyford was in Dana, and singer.
Oh, unbelievable singer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Probably one of the best you've ever heard. I'm a world class.
Very much, and we just did the gig on Sunday down at. Anyway, I'm moving off track a bit, but it does.
I saw it on Facebook.
It gets you enthused about.
Yes.
Playing with great musicians.
Tony Soliberti, I mean, the whole lot of you're all world-class musicians, and Mark Whitehouse put it up on Facebook Live, and couldn't stop watching it.
Thank you, Mark. That was good. I did on the way home. Had my phone down here.
Yes.
Okay.
Did I play that?
As you do, driving down
Yeah.
Sterling Highway. And
So you
I think,
started
hang
doing-
on a minute, I'm going to put that away.
Yeah, session work at Sweetcorn Studios. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
there.
no worries.
You work with Will Upson, Stars of the
Yeah.
Future on TV. I remember watching that in the day.
You remember that? Yeah.
Yes.
And nicely produced, I thought, that show. And here I got a call to do a couple of charts, which I was starting to do arranging in Antigua. So arranged many of the charts, from listening to the tracks and taking down the instrumentation and the horn voicings and all that sort of thing. So I was starting to set myself up to arrange and copy. Back in the day of hand copying,
Yes.
no computers.
No, that's right.
Yeah, all that laborious stuff that you did, but it was cool at the time because you're getting paid for it. And
But like
trying to do
anything,
a
when
good
you
job.
write it down, you understand it even more.
yeah, very much. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
You know it
process
inside
of
out
hours
then.
and
Yes,
hours,
yes.
the hours and days sometimes. That you sit there with a piano and,
Yes.
and a pencil on a piece of paper, on the score paper. But yeah, so I got an opportunity to do that, and the first tune I remember seeing on telly was a bit of a kick. You get a kick of hearing it. With the Reno brothers doing it. You remember? Yeah,
Reno
of
brothers,
course they're
yeah,
still
yeah.
with us.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, great. Great guys too. And hearing them singing it and hearing the horn lines that I've written, and that.
Yeah.
So that was great. And those sort of little things came through, and I
Yeah.
started just get more confidence in
Yes.
writing and copying. Just sometimes it's that sort of stayed with me all the way through my career. Is the copying and the arranging. That's been a staple to earn
How do you do
a
it
living.
now?
Now it's on Sibelius on the computer. Everything's changed
Doink,
like that.
doink, doink.
Yeah,
Whip that one out.
no more
Yeah.
clogged ink
Yeah.
pens and no blotches.
That's
and no
it.
white out. It's a better process than hearing it back. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So in 1981, you moved to Sydney. You did a
Yeah.
jazz diploma.
I did with Don Burrows, was the head of
Wow.
the jazz department,
The
and
king.
he was the king of one of the great clarinetists and saxophone players. And sorry about that, Mike. Sorry, just touching.
Mike doesn't mind.
But he doesn't mind. He's okay. Little tap.
It's all right. It's grumpy over there, that mind.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Whoops. I daren't look over. Oh, there he is. Yes, he's not too happy.
I'm not looking
I
at
think
it.
I own one. And so that was great. That was great. He was the music director of the ensemble that I was in.
Yep.
And that very first year, I got pretty creative, and I wrote a original tune. And I thought, well, what better thing is Don Burrows playing flute, and the great, all the students, great students too, but there's this man with all this experience play on the tune that I'd written. I recorded it and I sent it in to the Jazz Action Society, which is like here it's the Jazz Society or well, it's different now. Like, Ellington's is one of the main jazz places, and so it was a bit like that, but it was run profit free, I think. But they used to really concentrate on nurturing students, or pretty much anyone anyway. But they had this contest every year, and I won it with that recording.
Wow.
Julian Lee was on the panel. I thought, I couldn't believe it, $1,000, and I mean, to have Don on that, and it was great memories. Spirito de Carnaval, I called it, the spirit of the carnival.
Yeah.
So it's my love of Latin music.
Yes.
It's coming out, but with a funky underlying feel, Latin type vibe. And so that was that whole thing of him, Paul McNamara, piano player, such a giving guy, introduced me to all this music. He used to, give me these. Well, in those days it was cassettes. Have a listen to this man. To get into this saxophone player or this style of thing. And there's also Roger Frampton, was just this iconic piano player, sax player. And then he asked me, "Do you want to join a sax ensemble? It's called the Saxophones."
The saxophone.
7 of us in this
Wow.
ensemble. And then we went on the ABC and we did our own show
Wow.
on the ABC, Don Burrows. There's the connection with Don.
Yeah.
This is after I'd just left. I finished the course and I graduated. But that 2-year stint was...
Opened a lot of boxes.
It
A lot
really
of
introduced me
opportunity.
to guys I still know, and it was like a network thing, really. Like any time you go into a big institution like that, you start in touch with the great teachers,
Yes.
but also all those students, you know, and still lots of the guys
Yeah.
are full-time musicians still. And
So you played with Sammy Davis Jr. I mean,
yeah.
Ed Wilson.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what was that like?
Well,
And
that
is
was-
that what the opportunity came from doing
That was
sort of
pretty
stuff?
much, I think, once again, you've got there's that link, you know, there's the trumpet player, Ralph Pyle, who's still a really good friend, and I've done tours with him. He comes over, still a wonderful lead trumpet player and soloist. And so Ralph was like me, 22, 23-year-old
Yeah.
guy. I think he was younger than me too. And he was, early 20s, all of a sudden, I'm getting this call from Ed Wilson, from Daly Wilson fame, Warren Daly, Ed Wilson, they used to tour, magnificent. I'd seen them when I was 15. And one of the greatest big bands I think Australia ever
And now
created.
you're in the...
Yeah,
there
I've
with them.
done my own little thing with the big band. But at that time, I've just finished the course, and there's this offer of playing with Ed in the band, who's put this all-star band together. Who's me? I'm just this young guy, playing tenor sax and flute and clarinet, and great grounding a whole week with Sammy Davis doing his thing and all those great songs.
Yeah.
The Candyman, and it's like, this is for real.
Wow.
Candyman, and who can I turn to? Nobody needs me. All these great melodies. And then, so we did a week up at Twin Towns Servicemen's Club, which is now called Jupiter's, I think.
Yeah.
And just remember that really, that kind of like what he was doing, just to watch it every night, because he was very spontaneous. We had one rehearsal of about half an hour. It was weird. Half an hour rehearsal, pile of charts this high. We're all numbered. George Rhodes was the music director, and he said, "Okay, we've done 4 charts. That's their rehearsal. We've got the gigs for the next week. What I'm going to do is just call on the night."
So they're all numbered, and you just race through quickly. Oh, that's number
it.
4.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. So Candyman was right on the bottom. You just say 325. You get the 325 out. Boom, there it is. Sight reading it. Sight reading it, and there he is, the man out the front,
wow.
dancing around, and all the Mr. Bojangles doing his whole routine. But he didn't like to rehearse. Obviously, he did, but he wouldn't do the same act. He would always do something different.
Yeah. Keep you on your toes.
Keep us on the toes, yeah. And I think it's a good thing, because that's what we, a lot of us are about, is playing and, being a sax player, being a freelance player. It really makes you read, makes you good at reading and interpreting different tunes and being able to come up with the goods fairly quickly. But so that was a monster moment, and I think I found these couple of photos, and there's another photo of that.
Did you bring them with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
And I'd forgotten about that little ad. It was a really nice little ad with Sammy and in front of the Twin Towns Servicemen's Club, and with the date and everything on that. And,
Phil will whack that in about this time, I reckon.
Good.
So you've worked with Ricky May, Frank Gorshman from Batman. He was in Batman, wasn't he?
He was in Batman, yeah. Some weird stuff happened over there.
He was the Joker or
He was the
something, wasn't
Joker, and he ended up being this serious Frank Sinatra type singer. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, from TV, or movies.
Did you watch Batman growing up?
Oh, I love Batman.
And then
once
you meet him.
He didn't have his Riddlers.
No, of course not.
The question mark.
Yes.
He didn't have his jumpsuit on.
Yeah.
But he he was a really nice guy, actually. I remember that well. And Jane Powell. So we're getting outside the band thing a little bit, but it's...
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I just thought it was like, once again, all these... Like Debbie Reynolds I worked with too, and a couple of times, yeah. And they're sort of like, they're not only good actresses or actors, they're great singers. They can dance, they could,
Like just performers and
Well, it's
entertainers
wild watching it as a musician. You're just sort of watching this, okay. And now she's doing that. And now, now she's singing this and that.
Yeah.
And Frank Gorshin was one of them. Jane Powell. I mean, she was in movies in the 50s and 60s, but they go on the road. They can go on the road till they're 70 or 80, and still keep on.
Perfect.
Yeah, keep on with their career. I think it's you don't necessarily need a hit. They just maybe they had one hit and that was enough.
But they just enjoy doing it.
They
obviously.
just enjoyed it and they can keep it. Yeah, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and Ricky May, everyone knows the wonderful Ricky May. So he started to do big band gigs.
Yeah.
And so I was just in one of his many shows that he did, and I played with him when he came here as well, with Dennis Bird on drums.
Oh, yeah. We interviewed Dennis.
The great Dennis, yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, his episode will be on soon. So.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, what a great man.
What a fantastic man.
I love the guy. And
of course,
all the stories Dennis has got. Yeah. I mean, and especially the Ricky
them.
May stories.
Yes.
Oh, looking forward to hearing that. Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
I think he even might have given you a mention on that one, but if he didn't, then...
good man. No, he's a good friend, and we've had many good conversations. I think everyone has good conversations with Dennis. He's just kind of a really personable guy.
Yes.
And he's funny as hell. Sometimes, he'll come up to you and start a conversation. Like, Paul, but this, no, I've got to tell you something. I really, having a good night, man. Let's keep it going, man.
Yeah,
He's got
pretty cool.
He's enthusiastic about stuff, which is really important.
And obviously we see a bit of him and Kelly, Kelly Green.
Yeah, Kelly. I love Kelly. Yeah. Kelly Green, I've done some shows with her. Always loved working with her. Sammy Pizzata put together the rock and roll.
That name comes up again in every interview.
Rock and roll.
When are we going to interview
Got to
Sammy?
get Sammy. Sam the man.
Yeah.
Sammy, Chili Sammy.
Yeah. He loves his chilies, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And he makes the best ones.
But he does. He'll trick you.
Yes.
We had a MAGA meeting. This is the Music Arrangers Guild meeting, and we have it once a year, and we had it down in East Perth at a restaurant down there. And he brings along his own chili. We've all ordered a meal. I think I just had a seafood platter. But chili with seafood platter. Okay, right. I see it. He just puts down. It's a little orange one, and I don't know. I don't know much about it.
You blew your head off, does it? Yes. He loves doing that to people.
Everyone gets one in the front. Okay, and I'm thinking it's only orange. Red and green usually the ones that are hot. Okay, this orange one. I'd take a big bite out of it.
You couldn't play sax for a week, I reckon.
About that. I said, "What are you trying to do? Kill me or something?" So
he loves it. Doesn't
he loves it. It's a joke.
It's a great joke.
It's a very sick joke.
Yeah, it is.
But it's it makes you drink more, which is it's got its advantages. Certainly I'll down that beer real quick.
So 1990, you came back to Perth. Greg Schultz, obviously.
Greg. That was fantastic. I joined his band.
You worked with Shirley Bassey and Lee Rawls and Frankie Valli and Hugh Jackman, and the list goes on.
All those things, like when you come out of like members, like different guys work a fair bit together. Like Greg, for example, has just, I don't know if it's coincidence or whatever, but the similar sort of players will congregate, and also the vintage of it.
Yes.
Because I've known Greg for a long,
Yep.
long time, and I actually gave him a call, said I'm coming back. This is after Sydney, and I'm coming back to Perth. Any openings anywhere? And he said, yeah, I'll keep you in mind. And 6 months into being back here, he said, would you like to join the band? So it ends up being a sort of a ready-made backing band for Debbie Byrne and all these people, and Jackie Love and all these people who tour, who need a band. And on top of that, when we did, that was the first guy,
Lou Rawls?
Lou. So you end up playing similar sort of players, but for me, all of a sudden, you're playing with these guys. I'm a bit of a muso tragic, I suppose, like a fan.
Yes.
I'm still a fan of people.
Yes.
You know?
And then you're there,
and then I'm there with them. Yeah. So it's
surreal.
It is. Yes, I've been a few surreal moments like that, because my dad used to play that Live in Chicago album.
And now there you are,
singing "Drink Muddy Water," and here I am. Give me, pinch myself. What's going on?
Did your dad see that, or was he
no? Oh, yes, he did. He did. He was a while. Yeah. He passed away fairly much, just slightly after that. Yeah,
that must have been a great moment.
Yeah, I mean, he was great like that. He was really enthusiastic about all the stuff I was doing, I must admit.
Cool.
Yeah, and and I think I got some discount tickets, which helped. I don't know.
So after that, you started the jukebox musicals with David Campbell, with Jimmy Barnes' son.
Yeah, so he started on that career of getting into live theatre.
Yes.
And slightly different than Cold Chisel, what his dad was doing, different style. But I think he really mastered it.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
And now he can do anything, pretty much. And the grueling 8 shows a week thing, and he was always coming up with the goods, and that was fantastic. Nice guy, lots of, the energy in those green rooms was palpable,
Yeah.
Sorry, I've done it again.
That's okay. When we talked about some massive stars here, like
yeah. Well, Hugh Jackman was in a similar sort of, like, from being an Australian, same thing, because I knew him from earlier. I'd actually done some gigs on Telethon, and we were the Telethon backing band for a number of years, and I did a chart for him. I did Stand By Me chart for Hugh Jackman. And Kenny Walther gave us that gig, and once again we had a really nice band backing all the artists.
There's another wonderful gentleman, Kenny Walther.
Yeah, Kenny's magnificent. Yeah, Kenny's been on the show.
Yeah,
of course I've seen that. Yeah. He's magnificent.
I mean, we talk about Sammy Davis Jr., Hugh Jackman. Some big stars you've talked about.
Yeah,
but the big break comes when you get that phone call.
Yeah,
right. And I think that was 2006.
Yeah.
You got a phone call, the Mag 7. Al called you.
Oh, yeah. Man, I've been waiting for that for a long time. And when it happened, I just dropped the phone. And honestly, I was weak. I was weak on the knees, and I fell in a heap. And I just heard this voice on me. I was saying, Paul, are you still there? And I just picked it up. And he'd gone. He'd actually, So he rang me back there, and I didn't realise who it was. But he, Magnificent Seven, good name.
Yeah. Perfect.
Brilliant name.
So
great band. Yeah.
They put you on the map.
They put me on the map, and we did some of the best gigs of our lives.
Cool.
True. And it's well known fact, and he
the
Civic. It was the Civic connection. Yeah, it was the Civic big band with Mag 7. No, man, I don't know. You set me up for that.
Would have been the Magnificent Eight if you were in it. But
yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
2010, you got involved with the Australian Rock Orchestra.
Yeah.
With Chrissy Amphlett, Diesel, Baby Animals, because you did that tour, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That almost killed me. That
did it?
Yeah. I mean, you'd reckon that Alan Simpson
after he finished with you.
After he hit, yeah. And a year later, that was almost my complete downfall. But I had, honestly, I'm not joking, I actually did have to take a break for at least 6 months. It just felt like, that was just our Al. Of course, Chrissy Amphlett being with the Divinals. And how's this for, Chrissy Amphlett, Baby Animals, and Diesel on the same bill. Yeah. Sharing the same dressing room? No.
Oh, no.
No, separate dressing rooms.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, Chrissy, absolutely wonderful. Well, the energy coming off stage. Yes. I haven't quite experienced anything like that. We were at the Metropolis in Melbourne, the first gig, and I mean, they blew the roof off. And this was like a second coming for the band, like just getting back together. And Chrissy wasn't 100% well. She was suffering, from the MS. But she gave it everything every night. It was like the original deal. Maybe every now and again she had a little support on the side there. And she is fantastic, and the band, and wow. And then coming out and playing in the orchestra. So the orchestra playing science fiction, like those great tunes, right? And
fantastic.
The strings, and unfortunately I helped out doing the arrangements. So once again, I'm sort of like doing these rock arrangements with Tim Count. Tim was doing a lot of it, and I was working with him in tandem, and we had a really good bunch of players. So we're actually touring with kind of similar what Perth Symphony Orchestra is with Jessica Gethin, Ray Walker's daughter. Yeah. Fabulous, and she was conducting, but she was playing as well. Wow. I'm pretty sure she was playing, and Burby Webster on viola. That whole thing, it was put together. Well, it wasn't put together that quickly. I mean, it was just that stuff. When you've got to go, when you got to get on the plane and you've got all the charts, all of a sudden you seem to have just run out of time. Yes. And you haven't quite, finished, dotted the I and crossed the T quite on the arrangement. So all of a sudden, late nights, many late nights over a hot Mac, on the Macintosh, the MacBook Pro, churning them out, and but trying to do the best we could, and then and then that opening night at the Metropolis, great theatre to play in. Sorry, not the Metropolis, the Palais.
Palais Theatre, Metropolis.
In St Kilda. Yeah,
but a few long Macs during the night, I'm sure as well.
many long Macs and a few Reds. Yes. Many late nights, and I find it a bit hard to do that now, but I kind of think, anyway, I think I just really did burn the candle at both ends, and by the time we got over there and we'd finished, and we did 3 gigs in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney State Theatre, fantastic theatre, but all the work leading up to that, rehearsals, and then the gigs, kind of high energy stuff, and being a player in the orchestra as well. And there's 27 of us on the road. It's 27 pretty moving big. Around. It's and there was a whole bunch of other things going on in your life, and so I did sort of need a little bit of a respite after that, and I did. I took a few months off from teaching and from playing. Playing was still there, but at least I'd sort of had a little gap there where I maybe rejuvenated myself a little. I tried to, just because you need to. Sometimes you can overdo things. Yeah. but I never turned. That's my problem. I've always said yes to gigs.
Yeah.
Being a freelance player.
And why not? I mean,
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's but it's
Comes
also
in.
that sort of that fear of when's the next season coming from, you know, like it's never in stone, nothing's set in stone with music, is it? It's sort of, you get this seasonal thing and then all of a sudden it falls in a heap, and so you just put yourself on
and that's what you fear.
Hiatus.
Yeah, but that's what you fear, that it falls in a heap. That's
it
why
does.
you keep accepting
Yeah,
all of these
so you
things.
just accept, and that's what's probably kept me going, is just say, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I'm happy. You can make music out of anything,
really.
And well, at least that's what I found works for me.
Yeah.
Some people don't like it at all, but I'm happy to do, you know, weddings, bar mitzvahs,
Parties,
anything, you know, pretty much.
You formed the Paul Millard Quartet. Who was in that?
Well, I've got Mike, the wonderful Mr. Chops Nelson.
That's awesome, isn't he?
He's just the best. You know. He's wonderful, and what a privilege it is to have him, and as a friend too, you know. And then Alistair Peel on bass, and Bronson Ainsworth on drums.
Wow. And
Victoria Newton is singing, and this is leading up to the CD we've just recorded, Paul Millard Quartet. We're doing it next week. We're doing a CD launch.
Is that
Fremantle Jazz, actually.
Sorry.
Yeah. Back down there, which is wonderful. I really like working with them, and I've got a appointment with our good Mr. Whitehouse.
This show
and
this gig will have already.
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
Because this won't go up for 6
barely
weeks.
synced.
No, that's
Sorry
all right. No problem.
But I always come here for my CD production, and
Wouldn't go anywhere else, would you?
No. And he's a great supporter of music.
Yes.
Is Mark, and
always has been.
Totally. Gratitude, totally grateful for that.
I think most people are with Mark because he just gives everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
He loves his music.
Yeah,
and
very much. So.
He's very helpful.
And
such a generous.
He wasn't here just before.
Normally I just call him grumpy and stir him up. But, I mean, credit where credit's due.
Just walk in.
No,
we're saying all the right things, but truthfully, we've had many great conversations, and he's very helpful, and he puts you on the right track. And he's great man.
Cool. So, show me all your instruments. You play all the different saxes and explain. Can you explain the differences? Yeah. You also play flute, clarinet, as you've said, but
I like all these little bits of brass. I don't have any preferences, but I end up playing this a lot. This the tenor, and
do you have some signature tunes that the tenor
in terms of rock.
Whoops! Oh, we got the mic.
Sorry.
Mr. Whitehouse can make an appearance now. Hopefully.
We this was okay at rehearsals. That's it.
I think you might have just stood on that. That's all. That's all it was. That's okay.
I didn't think I must have trodden on it.
You're right now. I'll hold it up. For anyone who doesn't know Mike Whitehouse, he's getting himself on the screen right now. He's loving
we're
this.
still rolling. Okay.
He's quickly up there. So.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Just played a gig with Bluesology, and there was a really basic tune that I was listening to, David Fathead Newman playing a Ray Charles song called Lonely Avenue.
Yep.
And just the most basic down-home blues, but it got the feel is all right, you know, it just feels right to play.
Yes.
So the blues, you know, like this is the tenor, this is
Yep.
the instrument for the blues,
Yep.
and jazz, you know, and the funk.
Then you get the soprano. Is this the soprano coming next?
Yeah, well, I thought the alto. I just
No, sorry,
just
the
thought
alto.
was a little bit closer to me, but I hope I'm not stuffing anything up.
What's
with
the
with
famous?
sound.
What's the most famous song you reckon? Or signature thing on an alto?
You know, like every time I pick the alto up, I feel like playing a ballad a lot or a bebop tune. You know, so.
You love it. That's great.
So that's the Billy's Bounce, the Charlie
right.
Parker bebop
That
tune.
sounds great.
But also, like ballad-wise, I'm pretty sure you know this one.
It's just great.
Bit of Misty. And thanks, mate. And then, can I? I'll just
Yeah,
move
you
this
can
around.
reach over there. I've got your mic.
So, here we go.
Right.
Yeah. Now, this is one of my all-time favourite tunes that I'll play.
You're gonna really with this one here.
And I just wonder what I did with my
Glasses.
glasses.
You're gonna really
This is
impress.
live, folks.
You're gonna really impress my wife here because I can see what's written there, and I have to watch this show every night.
Okay.
Oh, it's
I
just
heard a
great.
little story about that. You know,
What?
That you're a Coronation fan, or your wife.
My
is a
wife is.
Coronation-
I have to watch it every night. She records it on. I'll just get this.
God
I got
damn
no
it,
choice.
You weren't supposed to see that.
No, but when I saw the music, I thought,
blew
yeah.
Oh well.
Special request.
Oh, fantastic!
He's never played it before. He read it.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So, no, it's a pleasure.
So
But
I hear that
thought it-
music every night. Well, not
That's
tonight.
my trumpet impression.
Wow.
Because on the show, it's
Yes.
trumpet, right?
Yes, that's
What
right.
a great little tune.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember as a kid
I think it's
watching
episode
that.
10,000 we're up to now or something.
Oh,
Bakers.
yeah.
Have we got? Yeah, what was Baker Street done? Was that an alto?
I can't not play at Baker Street. Yeah.
Well, it's a signature.
It is. I mean, it's became the rock anthem almost for saxophone players.
Right.
It's a short version.
So you're teaching now. Do your students always say, I want to learn that
Yeah,
one, or
still.
can you show me how to?
Still,
Play
like,
that?
yeah, it's big hit. And that and Tequila, Peter Gunn, Careless Whisper,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Probably could have played that as well. And,
I thought you had a sore back there, Mark, and you were trying to. I saw. Where is Spot? He's over there.
That's still being requested, and boys love
Yep.
the boys I'm teaching
Yep.
at Christchurch Grammar
Cool.
School, and it's a popular one. There's lots of them. Pick up the pieces is another good one. Yeah. There's just a bunch of them. Yeah, that's
It's just brilliant, isn't
it? Average White Band.
Yeah, they were just funked out, weren't
That
they?
was a band that was really inspirational for me. Because
same.
I've got two saxes. What about rhythm section?
Oh,
I mean,
just-
four.
Insane.
Insane rhythm section, and the singers, and then the two alto, the alto and the tenor player, Molly Duncan and
Yes.
Roger Ball on alto. And I've collected everything that they did, but that was my first concert that I remember paying for myself, and it was standing room only at the concert hall in '76.
I was going to ask you that question. Anyway, you've answered it. Okay, so you've been on Hungry Jack's ads and lots of jingles, obviously with Kenny Walther.
Yeah.
Your relationship with him.
Kenny was good, had lots and lots of things
reckon-
going on.
How many boogers do you reckon you sold? just
Oh, I
playing on
reckon that at least a few thousand. Hungry Jacks. I'm still a bit partial to them myself.
Yeah. I don't. As you can see, I don't. I'm not. But,
Has to be Hungry Jacks. So lots of those, and chicken treat, and
Yep.
gosh, it's just
Yeah,
jingles. I actually had to go some jingles myself. My brother-in-law Barry, Leonie's my sister, or Lizo. I shouldn't call her Leonie. She won't like me. Leonie. Nothing wrong with Leonie though. I like that name. But Lizo, she's married to Barry. Now Barry was in advertising. He gave me my first break as writing some jingles, which is a lot of fun. Wow.
What's Barry's last name? Sorry?
Barry Anderson.
All right.
And he's actually works with Radio Mama
Yep.
up now. He's still in media.
Yep.
He was in advertising a lot in Bunbury.
Yep.
And so I was doing a few jingles down for the jeans ads and hairdressing salons and stuff like that. Like coming up with little catches. Fun.
Yeah.
Yet another fun thing to do musically, because it's kind of all mishmash related, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's
playing music.
I think the whole jingle thing's changed now anyway, the industry, hasn't it? But
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's a very, it's all decentralised, I think. I think it's all coming, isn't it? Probably coming from...
Yeah.
So
Over
there's
east.
still some guys,
Yeah,
obviously,
there's
here.
some,
I mean,
yeah.
this guy, I'm sure there's lots of things going on, but there seemed to be just a huge amount coming from... obviously it was just more happening, wasn't it? Like more accounts going on. And more, I don't know. It's not so much now.
You recorded local acts like James Flynn, Dave Hole, Steve Tallis.
Yeah.
You recorded with all of those.
Yeah, I've done quite a
artists
few, and I've loved working with those guys, and also Juliana Arias just recently have recorded an album with her, and I've done some touring with her.
She's from Brazil.
Brazilian, the real deal.
Yeah.
Sings in Portuguese.
Wow.
And can sing in Australian or in English language as well. But
is it Latin sort of feel that
Latin,
you're doing?
Yeah, Latin and Latin rock and funk, sort of a mix.
Yeah.
I think she's really bridged the gap really
Yeah.
nicely, you know, with the Brazilian folk songs or basic folk songs, but a lot of the bossa nova. She calls herself the bossa nova baby, and she's such a pleasure to work with. High energy, such a lovely person, and yeah, I love that music. I've always loved the bossa nova.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Latin music, you know, especially for the flute. Always think of it.
Love that bossa nova on the edge of the snare.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a groove, hasn't it?
All that, yeah. You play that all day.
Yep.
You know.
So 2015, you form an 18-piece band. Who's in that? Why did you form that? And where do you play? Because
Yeah.
you're still
Well,
still going.
Al said, someone said, why did you do that? What, are you crazy?
Yeah, it was probably him.
Yeah.
Well, because he's had experience doing pub legends with 30 musicians.
I know
and Pekovic's
how
gigs,
hard
and
it is with 6.
it's like herding sheep,
Or 5,
isn't
7.
it? It's like herding sheep.
Yeah.
You know.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I wouldn't put it that way. It's necessarily.
No, with all due respect.
With all due respect, yeah. But
to the
obviously,
musicians.
no, I know where you're coming from.
Ah.
But I just the whole thing about that was that I went on a tour with Tom Burlins, who's the man from Snowy
Yep.
River.
Yes.
We all know, but he's actually a really good singer of
Yep.
Frank Sinatra songs, and he's written really, really good. Yeah, he's put many shows together. He still is. Total professional to work with, and we did this amazing tour of about, I think, 8 dates up to Broome and down to Albany in the course of over 10 days, but there was about 6 venues, you know, Mandurah Performing
Yes.
Arts Centre, Bunbury,
Yep.
Carnarvon,
Yes.
you know, and Port Hedland.
Yep.
Now, that was a real eye-opener for me, is that there are so many good venues up there on the road,
Yes.
you know, that weren't there before. But
Yep.
good, you know, like good 400 seaters with good sound system lighting. Anyway, from that, just playing that music, I thought, yeah, we're playing all this Sinatra music. I really would dig to play that with a regular big band again, because it's, you know, the sort of the music I was brought up with in a lot of ways, you know, like, but I'd left it somehow, and I was in the Jazz West Orchestra, and I used to play with Perth Jazz Orchestra, and this is going back 20 years. Anyway, cut to the chase, is that we recorded an album, and it went really well, and I self-funded. It's self-funded. Most of it's going from.
We know all about self-funding, don't you worry.
You know what it's like, yeah. Well, I mean, it ain't cheap, but it's so satisfying
Yeah.
to play that music. I
Yes.
mean, I've got the bug.
Yeah.
You know, I've got bitten by the big band bug.
And you just can't.
And I can't let it go, you know. And I've got the Facebook page,
Yeah.
Straight Ahead the Big Band on Facebook,
Yeah.
and you know, looking at getting a website, an official website,
Yeah.
and I've got the emblems made up for the
Yeah, we'll get
the
ready to go.
designs
Yeah.
for the music stands and getting those made
Yeah.
up.
Fantastic.
But it's a tough business because it is expensive, but it doesn't have to be super expensive. You know,
Go
what I
and get
mean?
some funding.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's probably.
If you get
one
some
of the
before us, I'll
questions.
be really dark on that.
Really, yeah. I know.
I've been trying
It's
for
hard to
years.
come by.
Oh.
I tell you, and I've been through a little bit of it, and I've found out from the government funding. But you know, the thing about that's really interesting because you have to get the funding, you have to prove to them that you're serious and that you've got a working unit,
Yeah.
and that's something that'll satisfy them. That it's a viable entity.
Do you
know,
think?
they won't give you the money
Yeah.
without having
think
the
the
viable entity? You know,
Yeah, but
and
do you-
that's all draining the old resources.
Exactly. But do you
'Cause-
think documenting what we're doing
Yeah.
is something worthwhile for
very
future
much so.
generations?
I'm very much.
I
That's
don't
what
get
I
it.
believe in. I believe, and I'm sure that's why all the great and good bands in America, particularly because I've got that background, you know. But Australia, I mean, that's why everyone wants to get the best recording they can on disc now. You know, not on tape, but on an album. You know, on an album, something that you can hold. I mean, I'm a bit old-fashioned like the way, but I do believe in it. I do. I just think it's all going to last the distance. You know, to have something that's good quality. And anyway, that's what I've been striving for in my life. Anyway, to do something along the lines of what I listen to. You know.
So what are you holding up? The 18.
Who's in the band?
Oh yeah, 18 of us.
Take a break before he does it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this could
I'll be
take
back soon.
could take a while. This is a situation that I'm getting pretty good at it actually, but I don't always get it right. But because Mike Nelson's in it, it's number one. Yep. And then the Ray Walker. The
one if I ring these bells because Ray Walker,
Ray
Mike
Walker.
Nelson.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
There's two.
Okay. Yeah. Shane Pooley on bass.
3.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not.
And you're he's only up to number 4 and he's still thinking.
I know, Rick Eastman.
Yes.
That's what just
perfect.
takes me a while.
Drums.
You know, it's been a busy day.
4.
Trumpets, Mark Underwood.
Yep.
Ben Hodgkin.
6.
AK, Adrian Kelly on trumpet. And Rob Breslin on trumpet. How many have we got?
We got 8 now.
We got 8.
We got 10 to go.
Don't get the bell.
Well, you know.
Every
Sorry,
section.
Rob.
Every section.
Yeah. Sorry, Rick.
Okay. Karen Hurley on trombone. Bill McAllister.
It's 10.
Catherine Noblet on trombone. And Anthony Dodis on trombone.
12.
Good. Now,
6 to go.
Saxophones.
Here we go.
Okay. Guy called Paul Millard on sax.
Who's he?
I don't know. He's a new guy in town.
Is it? Yeah,
apparently.
okay.
Yeah,
Better give him a ring anyway.
better give
Don't know
him
who
a
he
call.
is.
Better give him a call.
13.
Please.
Paul Millard, 13.
Please. Okay, yeah. Grant Rickman.
14.
Okay, Lee Buttle
Lee.
on Barry.
Really?
He's the Barry man, yeah.
15.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy. 16.
Yeah, and
Jeremy,
Victoria.
don't worry about your last name.
Victoria Newton.
Victoria Newton, that's
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, Trezona.
Trezona.
Jeremy
Did
Trezona.
I miss one?
Yeah, and Brad Swope.
There you go. 18.
That's it. So I wasn't telling a lie. It's
There
very
you go. Are you happy
And
now? You got the 18.
usually I have a little idiot sheet, you know, just to,
No, that was great. He wants to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
And
No,
now
he
he's-
don't.
and now he's going like this, wind it
Yeah.
up. He wants to know 18
typical
names
producer,
in a half an hour. Now he's saying wind it up. So I'll quickly ask you these last few questions.
yeah,
then.
thanks, man.
Favourite band of all time?
Well, that's hard. Gee, that's a hard question. Favourite band, you know.
I didn't write them. You
Yeah,
put up his-
Yeah, boy, that is. You'd have to be 3 or 4, but I think in the whole course of it, I'll just give you a quick one. Chicago,
Perfect.
I think,
Perfect.
from what I've been listening all my life. You know,
Yep.
if I had to weigh
Yes.
it out in sections. Yeah.
He's still on this.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, your
Sorry
favourite
about
album,
that.
if you were stranded
Sorry.
on a deserted island, right?
Yeah.
What would you can only take one album with you, which one would that be?
Yes. Okay.
One.
All in all, by
All in
Earth,
All.
Wind and Fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I reckon.
First time we've heard that one, but that's a brilliant album.
I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Stone.
Yes. Fantastic.
Big,
Fantastic.
Big,
What was your favourite TV show growing up?
Whirlybirds.
Oh, wow.
When I was
First time I heard that one. too.
Yeah,
Whirlybirds.
Whirlybirds. When I was young, remember that? It was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was the real thinking man's kid show.
Yes. Was it? Yeah, it was, yeah.
That.
Okay. What unfulfilled ambitions do you have?
Okay. First thing is to record the big band with a grant, hopefully, and tour the west coast of Australia.
Fantastic.
And go up to the Pilbara, which I love. I love it. I love all that. Get out into the real
I'm going to help you get
nature.
that. I'm going to help you get the grant.
Oh,
Yep.
mate.
You watch.
That's one of my
As soon as I get mine.
dreams come true. Yeah. Oh,
Or
right.
ours.
Okay. Oh, you set me up.
Yeah, so you just stay there for a while until we get ours, and then I'll make
boy.
sure you get yours, okay?
Yeah, we've got to have the big band. Get people to hear more big band music. You know?
Do you collect anything?
And I did.
Apart from
when-
saxophones.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, apart from saxophones and reeds and musical items. But I started about a little bit of an obsession. It's a bit of a worry, but it's over now.
Oh, okay.
And the doctor's given me the all clear. But I was collecting Chicago,
Oh, wow.
and I just had this period, and it was that it once again it came back to me. I've had these little moments where I just have a break, and then I thought, wow,
I'll do
like
this.
the big band,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But I started, and I went really crazy, and I got every album, every CD, every tape, every piece of Rolling Stone magazines, Downbeat, blah
Anything
blah
with
blah.
Chicago.
Anything with that I could get a hold of, even it's crazy stuff like a three album set, 3, 4, and 5 in one, or actually would be more like 5, 6, 7 actually. The one I got is a cassette pack. I mean, it's ridiculous. I haven't even heard it. Didn't even
Well,
put it on.
How can you play it?
You don't play it. It's a cassette. Yeah, there's nothing to play it on. Well, I still have a cassette.
You can
player.
come to
But
ProCopy
you know what?
and
Yeah.
Mark can digitise those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I've got them on CD anyway. But that's the weird part that as I say,
Yeah.
I'm over it. a
You
bit.
can just
There's
look-
no way in the
You can
world.
just, yeah.
I just buy things on a practical level now. But on the other hand, I've got some really great songbooks that I actually have learnt a lot as a musician. Actually, studying those songbooks is so there's something good comes out
Still
of
keep
stuff.
all your tune a day books?
Tune a day.
You still got all those?
I've got heaps of music books.
Shut up.
Yeah, Tune a Day and all the rest of them. Yeah. It's too many.
Couple more questions. What would you put on your gravestone?
I think it would be. I tried my best, and I've had fun along the way!
Cool.
Exclamation mark.
One more question. Is there something about Paul Millard that we don't know that you can share with us?
Oh
And that
boy,
you don't have
I'm
to.
not set for this one.
Something that nobody knows this. You can just surprise everyone.
Oh, I'm a big,
We'll just keep it amongst us. Yeah,
Mag
won't be.
7 fan.
You're a big Mag 7 fan.
Yeah, I really
Wow.
am. I'm coming out of the pocket. I'm coming out of the closet with that one. No, I am.
No, well,
but
you're
no.
winking at me there as well. There's something wrong with your eye there, Paul. You're just hoping he's going to.
That is one of the hardest questions, I think. And I know I've seen other guys, girls answer this.
Okay, you
one.
don't have to tell us you crossed
Yeah.
dress or anything.
Can I
like
get
that.
back to you on that?
Yeah,
Because
no problem.
any of the weird stuff, eh?
Yes. That's all we want to know. We want some dirt on
Some
you, mate.
dirt on me, yeah. Oh, man. I swear,
That's
like
okay,
things
Mark.
like,
Mark said he would fill us in on
I have
some stuff.
once I have once I have one margarita, I can't stop.
Oh, okay.
I just love margaritas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember a New Year's Eve and thinking, man, this is cool because there's no hangover the next day. I'm not hardly ever drink, right? I'm just not much of a drinker, but I really, something in it. And I was in I was over in Bali a few weeks ago because we went to the Java Jazz Festival. That's another that I didn't bring up, but. I was over there with Leo Berman
I think Ross Mitchell wanted to go
and
to that. He
and
goes,
Lenny.
yeah,
We went over there and we stayed we stay overnight.
Yes.
So we end up in a margarita bar or a bar that had great margaritas. So here I find myself doing it. But yeah, that's probably it. I think that's a little bit of a.
Yeah.
But apart from the fact that I never really touch them until there's a special occasion or something.
Yeah.
So I don't trust myself.
I have a special occasion every day. You just got to have the special occasions more often. That's all.
Yeah, I think so. I might have to get one of those ones at home. That are constantly on the boil. Or so to speak, on ice.
You brought a clip with you?
I did. I've got a really, once again, it's just thrilled for me to play with Bluesology.
Yep,
and
great.
We recently played, of course, on the weekend at the Jazz Fremantle, and Mr. Al Lyford is singing on this particular track. I think I have a solo, but I think I kind of overdid it a bit. Well, they gave me 2 choruses. The boys gave me 2 choruses. Actually, Alex just said, "Keep going, man."
Just keep going.
Okay, yeah, all right. So I did two choruses on that, and it's the big going. Gee, Al, help me.
Yes.
Yes. Can we do this
That
again?
track.
No, it's that track.
It's that one.
That's
it. Yeah. What surprised you?
What's going on?
What's going on? So, what's going on is we finished this interview. You're just wonderful, Paul.
Thank you.
Full of
so
great
much.
stories.
I really appreciate it.
And thank
Gary.
you so much
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
in.
Thanks for everyone.
And
listening.
These guys are all good.
Margarita song. Yeah. Get that ready. I'll be
So what's going on is coming up, right? And we're finished. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We didn't get you to play the Pink Panther, but maybe we could go out with the Pink Panther quickly. Can we do that?
Little
Here we go.
Pink Panther.
Pink Panther.
Okay. Bit of Henry Mancini.
Yeah.
Okay. Stand up?
Yeah.
And without
No,
busting
it's all right.
anything this time?
I can look after this for you. There you go.
Okay.
You're getting old, mate.
Yeah. Well, just try not.
Sorry.
No, it probably looked like that. Sometimes I do feel a bit like that. That's for sure.
Your phone is ringing. Good night. Thank you.
Mother, too many of you crying. Brother, there's far too many of you dying. You know you've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer. Only love can conquer it. You know you've got to find a way to bring some love here today. I said a pick of lies, picket signs. Don't punish me, baby, with brutality. so you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? Everybody thinks we're wrong. Who were there to judge us just because our heads long? You know you've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket lines, picket signs. Don't punish me, baby, with brutality. Talk to me, so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Everybody thinks we're wrong. Who were they to judge us just because our heads long? You know you've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Don't punish me, baby, with brutality. Talk to me, so you can see, what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? Thank you very much. A very good night from Bluesology. Thank you.
ProCopy, we can transfer audio to CD, make CD, DVD and Blu-ray copies, transfer video to DVD, Blu-ray or HD, digitise slides and photos and supply custom USBs. You can see more details at procopy.com.au or call us on 08 9375 3902 for more information.